Okay, so, alright, so we're here in the bike kitchen with Lucas, someone who gets a lot of on-the-ground contact with bike theft. So Lucas, you want to introduce yourself, give us a bit of rundown on your experience here at the bike kitchen?
Yeah, so I'm the manager of the bike kitchen. I've been working for about the past 5 years. Been in touch with the cycling community in the area as well as in the city. I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what's going on.
Definitely. Now, how often do you hear stories of bike theft here at the bike kitchen?
Too often. I'd say it happens maybe at least every week, every couple of days. It really seems to come in waves where one week we'll have 2 people a day coming in and saying, oh, my bike got stolen, my wheel got stolen, something, something. And then some weeks we won't hear anything, and then it comes up again. So it's always happening, and it's always an issue.
So now, based on that, how would you rate the problem of bike theft on campus? Is it something that's dire and really needs to be looked at, or is it a non-issue? How would you rate it?
I mean, I think on campus specifically, it's a bit of an issue that needs addressing because it seems to be disproportionately high to the rest of the city. There is bike theft throughout the city, but overwhelmingly I hear of stories on campus and in this area where people are getting their bikes ripped off.
Now, based on that and the stories that you hear, what do you think are the most common causes of bike theft here on campus?
I would say most common are improper locks, insufficient locking. Also people saying like, oh, I was only going in for 2 minutes, I didn't think it would get taken. I think that accounts for too much theft that's preventable. But at the same time, there are people who use totally proper lock techniques, really great locks, and still get their bike stolen. So it's not only user error.
Okay, cool. Now, you obviously come into contact with bike theft a lot and hear a lot of stories, so you definitely have a lot of experience in the area. Now, since you're on the ground seeing this so often, do you have any recommendations for UBC to try and curtail some of this bike theft?
I mean, UBC's been doing a lot as far as infrastructure. The new bike parking facilities are good. They're a step in the right direction to increase security. But things like the one at the North Parkade that services the Gage residences just got broken into about a month ago. So they're also starting to be targeted now. So it's kind of a step in the right direction, but these are also catching up.
So you would say, though, that infrastructure is definitely something that, although it's a movement in the right direction, it still needs to be worked on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can always get better. It's really hard to police every bike rack, so it's easier when everyone's bike is in a central location and all the resources can be put into that area.
So definitely raising awareness of proper locking techniques and continuing this walk towards greater infrastructure, greater secure facilities for bikers. Now, a bit off topic, do you have any funny or over-the-top stories? We just saw this video come out of a couple students actually recording someone as their bike was getting stolen and laughing with their buddies, probably elbowing it up. Do you have any stories, maybe funny or over-the-top, brazen kind of thefts?
I mean, yeah, there's been all types of thefts that I've heard of on campus. Things of people going to class, 2 U-locks on their bike, come out an hour later, it's gone. Type of just middle of the day, central building. Things like people locking their bikes up at the residence and they come out in the morning and not only is their bike gone, but so is the entire rack full of bikes.
Really?
People coming in and they're like, why does my brake work? And we look and they have a different wheel on their bike than they originally had, so someone came along and stole their wheel and put the wrong wheel back in place. So yeah, it happens all different types.
Okay, cool. Now, are there any tips for the students or, again, actions that you would like to see the university take place? Of course, you have, your feet are on the ground, you come in contact with a lot of students who, are probably using really crappy cable locks, or, maybe they're complaining about a lack of a place to lock their bike up that's really secure. Do you have any tips for the students or wishes the university would take?
I mean, I wish, as far as residences, that there was more indoor parking facilities for students. Things like you'd have in larger condo buildings or apartments with bike room. I think those things would help keep bikes maintained, also help reduce theft. That's a huge infrastructure change, and I think just getting in the minds of students that yes, bike theft is happening, and
Yeah.
it's something you got to take cautions with.
Yeah, totally. Because as UBC is pushing for this sustainability and the movement away from fossil fuels and into renewable and sustainable energies, you got to think that there's going to be a trend, if their plan goes correctly, of more bike use on campus. So it would naturally make sense to try and be ahead of schedule with the infrastructure, and also to realize that yes, this is a real problem, and we're going to have to create some kind of campaign to raise awareness within here at UBC.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything you want to add?
No.
All right, cool. Well, thanks a lot, man. Thank you for doing this.
And that's a wrap.
Cool, yeah, hopefully now I get to go home.